Kia ora, good evening. The recent withdrawal of psychoactive products from sale is not stopping 3 local councils from forging on with a legal high policy. Legal highs were removed from sale last month following continued public outcry regarding the effects of psychoactive substances and product approval processes. Despite the interim removal, work on a local approved products policy is continuing, with the Invercargill City, Gore and Southland District Councils collaborating on the LAPP. The only power councils currently control under the Psychoactive Substances Act is location.
Basically, our focus is now future-proofing Invercargill for what's coming next, because no doubt there will be some substances approved at some stage.
So what is the mindset behind future-proofing? What are the key concepts that you're going for with this?
Okay, the key thing that we're doing is location, because that's what we're allowed to do. What we've looked at is what the best locations for selling these substances are, considering that we have to allow them to be sold somewhere. So what we've done is looked at city centre locations where we'll have good policing, good lighting, a lot of people around, just looking for what would be the safest place to have people buying these products.
And that could be under camera scrutiny or anywhere that's easily policed?
Yes, it could be under camera scrutiny. We haven't really looked at that too much ourselves yet, but there was a number of submissions that said let's encourage CCTV footage on every single door that sells these products.
As far as when this will be implemented after you go through the submission process, what is the timeline for this?
Okay, so we've received the submissions and we're currently working on the alcohol policy as well. So following the alcohol policy, we're thinking perhaps July, August to hear people that wish to talk to their submissions, and then from that we'll make any changes that are needed to the policy, and we're hoping to have it implemented before the end of the year.
It's hoped New Zealand's world-leading animal welfare reputation will continue with the official ban on using blunt force to euthanise calves. The practice of using manual blunt force to kill unwanted bobby calves has been ruled out by Primary Industries Minister Nathan Guy, except in unforeseen emergencies. The National Animal Welfare Committee concluded from over 350 submissions, a large proportion supported the view that the routine blunt method is not acceptable, and now the captive bolt will be used as a standard alternative. The Code of Welfare for Dairy Cattle will be reissued, with amendments covering the humane destruction of calves on farm coming into effect on June 13th, ahead of this year's calving season. Green Party Health spokesperson Kevin Haig is in the city to address a public meeting at the Kelvin Hotel tonight. The former West Coast District Health Board Chief Executive says recent announcements by Health Minister Tony Ryle of more frontline staff and elective surgery are too little, too late.
Yeah, the Minister's PR department seems to be an excellent one. Unfortunately, his health management department seems to be not as good.
So what's the key difference between you and Greens and National then?
Well, on workforce, for example, there are more doctors, but there aren't enough more doctors. They are not keeping pace with the increasing needs of New Zealanders. There are more of us. We are older on average. We have a more complex pattern of illnesses. All of that needs more money, more doctors, more nurses, more than the government has been providing. And what that has meant is that our health services, by and large, have been at best running to try and stand still. They've been struggling to tread water against that pattern of increasing need. And so we're seeing services run threadbare, actually, and in some cases, particularly in the services that we most need around keeping people well in the first place, preventing illness, we're seeing whole services stopped. And unfortunately, that's a tragedy. It will be a disaster for us in the future.
Let's look at obesity, which is probably one of the largest preventable health problem. The government's put 40 million towards that. You'd be applauding that, wouldn't you?
Well, it's good that they're starting to put some of the money back that they took away in the first place. So when this government took office, we were spending $70 million a year on obesity prevention. In the first year of this government, that was reduced to about $35 million a year on obesity prevention. So $40 million over 4 years is putting back a small fraction of what they took out in the first place. In the meantime, we are going backwards really quickly on obesity prevention. We've got rapidly rising rates of obesity. We have one of the highest rates of obesity in the world, third highest, and that is causing huge increases in diseases like type 2 diabetes or heart disease, some cancers as well. And those increases are going to utterly overwhelm our health services in the years to come. So that's what I mean by the Minister prioritising his political spin over the long-term health needs of New Zealanders.
So isn't it really just people need to stop eating crap food and get up and move around? Are they right in saying a fat and sugar tax is like being the nanny state? It's up to the individual, isn't it?
Well, if we look at tobacco-related disease, smoking-related disease, we've been successful in bringing down the rates of disease, and that's a huge success story. The thing that's brought that down has been the use of price, increasing the tax on cigarettes, restrictions on where you can buy cigarettes, where you can smoke, restrictions on marketing and advertising of cigarettes. Those are the things that we know work. And those are the things that government is saying, no, we won't do that in relation to food and drink. Absolutely, we must do those things in relation to food and drink. Those are the things that we know will actually be successful.
Stay with us after the break. Trees take to the world stage, and how bright is vibrant Invercargill's future? Welcome back. Even with his organisation facing a possible funding cut from the City Council, Vibrant Invercargill Chair Philip Todd says he and his board are optimistic about the future despite a tough year. Vibrant was created in the late 1990s to act as a go-between for council, central city property and business owners. The possibility the targeted rate, which funds Vibrant, may be redirected was raised in this year's draft annual plan. Vibrant held their AGM last week. Hunter Andrews asked Mr Todd how his board was feeling with its funding in the balance.
It's been a tough old year this year, but it was a good meeting, very positive meeting. Everyone seemed to be focused on the future now, and we've just got to start moving forward with some of the stuff that's been around for a while. The CBD upgrade's going to go ahead, and there's some good positive stuff going to go on in the city in the next few years.
80-something submissions for Vibrant's retention with the draft annual plan. You'd be encouraged by that?
Oh, very encouraged, absolutely encouraged, yeah. People want an independent organisation that they can approach and hopefully get things done, and we try our best, yes.
What sort of feedback are you getting besides that from within council itself? Have you heard anything? I know it's a couple of weeks away, any decision, but are you hearing anything at all?
We're not hearing anything at the moment, no.
And so if Vibrant does lose funding, will the organisation continue, do you think?
I think we'll continue. How successfully we continue would be another thing. I think the way it's done at present is the best way to run an inner city CBD organisation. Everyone pays into it and everyone can play their part in it. It's if we go to individuals for funding, I'd be worried about it becoming driven by certain people rather than the whole CBD people.
So ideally that council, money from the council is key?
Yeah, very, very much, I think, yes.
Let's talk about council now. Graham Sycamore, he's hit the ground running. There is momentum within the inner city upgrade, as you mentioned. You'd be happy to see that?
Oh, I think Graham's the right guy for the job. Graham's very approachable. He gets out and he does talk to people. He's a good Southland man that's been around for a long time, and he's driven lots of things. I think he's the ideal person for it. Absolutely.
What do you think's next? They're obviously S Street, they're hoping to have that done by the end of the year, but what's the next step after that, do you think? Where should they be looking at working on?
I think we've just got to work out where the heart of the city is and continue to try and bring people into the heart. I think S Street's a big one. No, I think we're going to, and I think Graham's indicated that we're going to have to work through it, and as each part falls into place, that'll drive the next part to some degree. We do need to Tay Street and D Street are the next two big ones. There's going to be a lot of discussion about the traffic management of those two streets. Graham's indicated that, again, there'll be plenty of consultation. It won't be a thing that's just going to happen, which is wonderful. I've got some reservations about it, but I've been one of the people that's lived in Invercargill since the streets were 3 lanes on each side. So to go to 1 lane, you sort of think, is that good? I don't know.
The Beatrice Street stormwater pump station has reached another milestone with the installation of the discharge pipes for the 5 pumps beginning today. The replacement of the Beatrice Street stormwater pump station is a $1.5 million project that started in November last year and is scheduled to finish in mid-July. The pump station pumps water from the industrial and residential areas around Phillip Street and Beatrice Street and is designed to deal with a flood situation. The work's being carried out by Fulton Hogan, with the costs split between the council and a developer on the adjacent land. When the initial plans for the upgrade of South City were released for public consultation, there was an outcry from retailers on Martin Street over the proposed removal of car parks to make way for a pocket park. Martin Street business owner Julia Thompson was among those protesting the loss of car parks. Last week, the new plans were revealed to little or no opposition from Martin Street retailers.
I went to the meeting the other night at Beaumont Street, and the concept is much better with the pocket park being in Ellis Road. That way that we don't lose any car parks here in Martin Street.
That was the key issue, wasn't it,
Yes,
the car parks? You weren't against the concept of doing up South Invercargill?
No, I'm not. I'm not against the concept of doing up South Invercargill or South City, but I feel that we still haven't had any costing on it. We don't know how much the architect person is being paid, and we don't know how much the costing is going to be.
And another issue outstanding, I guess, is the bus stops. You've got still thoughts on the bus stops?
Yes, the bus stops. A client informed me this morning, an elderly lady that's been coming to me for a while, that she's got to walk 3 blocks from Conan Street because the bus doesn't let her off in South City. But if you catch the bus to Windsor, you let right off at their doorstep.
So something there, that is a council problem though, isn't it? That's not South Alive's concern, that's a council problem.
No, but I think it should be looked at.
Children from Lee Street Kindergarten were kept busy celebrating World Arbor Day today with a little help from a local high school. A native pittosporum was planted at the Southland Boys High School hostel grounds today to mark the day that's all about inspiring people to plant, nurture and celebrate trees. Trees play an important role in moderating our climate and improving our air quality, and the green-fingered preschoolers were keen to get involved in the process. Arbor Day is celebrated by countries all over the world and originated in Nebraska, USA in 1872. Today is also World Environment Day. And we'll leave you with that note. Weather is followed by sport next. From the news team, good night.